Welcome to Peak Access, an Endurance Unlimited podcast. We're kicking off a special 4-part series breaking down the biggest bike race on Earth. Through the minds and experiences of Alex Howes and Joe Lewis, we'll be analyzing data, tactics, and more to translate it directly to your own training. We want this series to be all about you, so give us your best training or racing questions in the comments below. Alex and Joe will answer them throughout the coming episodes. Let's get into it.
Alex, you're a real dad influencer now, filming from the front seat of your car.
Yeah, I mean, that's just how life works, right? You do all this work to give your family all the things they need and want, and then eventually you just get banished to your own car.
Hey, wherever you get that alone time, man, got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, I mean, I could have skipped all these steps and just lived in a van or something down by the river alone, but here I am, just banished to my own car. That's okay.
You're here.
How are we doing, guys? We're here. I'm somewhere, but yeah.
You're somewhere. Episode 4. Let's do it. Hell of a stage today.
Hell of a week. I mean, the race is on, huh? Except for one jersey.
Yeah, you picked him last week, Tade.
Yeah, a real dark horse pick.
And some other guys. What do you think? Is there any way that Tade's not wearing that yellow in Paris?
You know, you had picked Remco to jump up into second, and if I'm honest, I was like, it's a bit of a reach, but here he is. He's in second. And that's not the way anybody wanted him to get into second with Jonas crashing out. But racing's tough, racing's tight. And Tade was pretty dang close to that crash as well. So, as they say in the business, anything can happen. So
yeah, he had his back wheel off the ground, slamming on the brakes through that corner that Leipowitz crashed in.
Oh, yeah, Leipowitz, that looked like a tough crash. I don't know what the deal is, if it's just because the clothes are so tight, but anytime you crash on a time trial bike, it looks bad, doesn't it?
Yeah. Don't even want to think back to that team time trial.
Yeah, we won't. But yeah, Leipowitz out. Poor Jonas out. I don't care what anybody says about Jonas. Some people not big Jonas fans, but man, big animator of the race. He went down when his whole team was on the front. They were pushing the pace, like they were ready to make a race out of it. And yeah, poor guy's out. So two out of the top 10, top 5 out.
Yeah, disappointing way to leave the race. Always sad to see someone crash out and have to get in that medical car. But yeah, Evenepoel did pull himself up in a second. So did call that. I'll claim my first win of the series. But it did happen a stage earlier than I thought it would.
Yeah, and to be fair, it's not like he doesn't deserve it. I mean, he won the time trial. He beat everybody.
He won both sides of the rest day.
Yeah, dude was doing his homework.
I guess we could call him the big winner of the week.
Big winner of the rest days.
Winner of the rest days. He's doing his openers.
3-hour openers for sure. If we get out of that, look to today, dude. Green jersey wide open. What the heck?
7 points, 2 guys, and I mean, I haven't looked to see what the intermediates look like the next few days, but what do you think? It's going to Paris?
I mean, it's going to go to Paris no matter what. I think, yeah, Mads has a chance to pull some points on the next couple of days. Like, he's obviously climbing super well. There'll be some opportunities in the next 2 or 3 days, but those opportunities are going to come at a serious cost. And we saw today that when he has to spend to get those points, it does not work out for him at the end of the stage. I don't think anybody saw Mads getting 8th place out of a breakaway in the sprint. Like, that's crazy. Loaded breakaway be sure, but yeah, Jasper, this is not looking like a disaster at the moment. He's fighting back strong here. So
Yeah,
good
I think
to
it was
see,
his
to be honest.
11th stage victory at the tour, first from this year.
Probably his first breakaway win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I don't know if you can really call it a
definitely.
breakaway, but
Polka Dot, still pretty open. Haven't heard much about that in
Mm,
the last. You think? I mean, right? It just
I don't know.
depends how hard Pog's gonna go for it, or is he just gonna get it by chance, just as
Yeah.
on his way
I,
to winning a couple more hilltops.
I mean, it's more if I can never remember how to say this fellow's name. Peret Pentre, but that's not even close. How you say his name? It's more if he can actually make it happen. The guy
Sure.
in second. If he can make it happen, which I mean, it's gonna require like 2 days in the breakaway probably, which is a bit tall ask, 2 out of 3. And if he doesn't do that, even if Tade decides to give away a bunch more wins, then he's still gonna lose it. So we'll see. I mean, more excitingly, the white jersey is like that fight's red hot, man. Super tight. Del Toro's. It's pretty obvious that Tade like wants Del Toro to win that white jersey. He wants to help him get whatever results he can get. I think he obviously likes Del Toro, but I wonder how much of it's also like him trying to keep him happy, just to keep him on his team. Because
Mm-hmm.
for sure he's got chances and opportunities to go somewhere else. And right now he's sitting third on GC, which is crazy. 2 guys from the same team on the podium together, like that's insane. But Paul Sextus is coming up strong. Honestly, I think he's looking better than Del Toro. For a 19-year-old, if you want to talk about durability, it's insane. Like he's on the way up. So we will see.
He's looking good. See what happens on this Alpe d'Huez.
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple of honorable mentions. Right, we had McNulty hit by a car before the time trial and still rode anyway. The other losers, we had the 2 a.m. doping test. That was the big story, right? I'm sure that's got to throw the recovery off a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, if the only thing you can really do to recover is sleep and get a massage, you take out the biggest portion of all of it. That's tough. Jonathan Butters actually had an interesting point about that 2 a.m. doping test, about how that's kind of the only way to guarantee that they're not like microdosing, right? I mean, that's kind of the whole idea behind microdosing. You take just enough that it's out of your system by the next day. So, sounds like we can rest assured that they're racing clean, or at least not
That's good to know.
microdosing whatever they're testing for. So that's a positive for sure. But definitely unfortunate getting yanked out of bed at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Especially when it's not like, I don't know. To me, that's one where if everybody in the race has to do it, everybody in the race has to do it. But if you're only doing that with 3 or 4 guys, then I don't know. Doesn't sound like the most fair thing.
Well, yeah, if that's what we've got to do to keep the sport clean, then I'm all right with it. But yeah, it'd be a bummer if it was every single night and you were the guy getting tested.
Yeah,
all
for
right.
sure.
Well, just before we move on to our main segment, you want to look at this individual time trial file from Baptiste Vistrofa.
The breakaway king of the Tour de France.
Another excellent pronunciation. He posted this one on Instagram, and the translation of the caption: "Taking it easy on the time trial." And just looking at those numbers, that wouldn't be an easy ride for me, but maybe for this guy.
No, I don't think my heart rate goes that high anymore. I mean, we're getting up like mid 170s. That's an easy day.
How do you survive a time trial like this, Alex? I mean, you're just trying to get through it without getting time cut. Save as much energy as you can. Go like this.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you know exactly what time cut is. If you're just trying to get through it, you know what time cut's going to be. At the Tour de France, you have somebody much smarter than you that knows the CDA of a guy like Remco, has an idea of what the exact finishing time is going to be. They calculate it out usually within 20, 30 seconds. And then you do exactly what you need to do to be, what, 20, 30% off of that. So he would have had a pretty good idea. But the main thing is you just try and be as aerodynamic as you possibly can so that your legs do as little as they have to. And you see the downhill on this power file. For sure, he was keeping his head pretty dang low and his shoulders tucked up nice and tight and just trying his best to coast.
He's been sharing quite a bit of his data every day, so give him a follow.
Cool. Yeah, he seems like a fun guy. Like, smash that subscribe button. I guess you could contrast that to Evenepoel, right? He's riding that absolute limit. Seconds of the prize. I guess it shows that they both executed perfectly. And pacing's not always how hard can you go. It's, what's this effort for? Well, speaking of effort, we saw a good example of this today, and it's going to be our main section for the episode. Max Power, our most expensive 12 seconds in sport.
Well, I love Max Power. That was my pseudo name when I was like trying to jump into the Boulder short track races.
I think I've seen that.
First name Max, last name Power.
Max Power, otherwise known as high scorer. So we had Philipsen, right? He really solid sprint today at hour 4. Is one that wins. That's the one that wins races, and a lot of the time it's decided by everything before it. It's not just a one-off. So, did you do much sprint training, Alex, when you were racing? You had a good little kick on you.
I actually did. I did a lot. And yeah, kind of to this point in the segment, it's not necessarily training. It's more like, it's like practice, right? Like a lot of it comes down to coordination, timing, and just understanding where your body is in space, and then making it all happen quick, fast, and efficiently. So yeah, I was kind of a scrawny guy. It's hard to tell now. I know I'm pretty beefy now, but I was kind of a small guy, and nobody really thought I could sprint. And when it came down to it, I knew how to pull on the bars and push on the pedals just the right way to actually do something with a sprint. So it was, yeah, I mean, it's like you say, it comes down to there's so many riders that can do everything it takes to actually get to the finish line. And the sprint is actually what decides that last little bit between, let's say, 15th and 1st. So it's disproportionately important, I would say.
I've had a few athletes and teammates in the past ask me about sprint technique. And I remember when I was living in Greenville, I took Chris Butler out for a ride and he got his first 1,000-watt sprint. So, there was a lot of technique there. He had it in the body. He just wasn't like pulling his bars and pushing his feet at the right time. So, the side to side, I often think of there being a rubber band between my hand and my foot, and I'm trying to pull it apart. Right, so I'm pushing down as I'm pulling that side up, pushing down as I'm pulling the other side up, and that got a few watts out of him. What do you think about?
You must be a good coach if you got 4 digits out of Butler. So I think that's credibility, the big chunk of credibility to your coaching style right there. Yeah, I mean it's pulling up, it's pushing down. It's also just thinking not necessarily about watts, but also speed. I mean, at the end of the day, we're trying to go forward fast. So how do you go forward quickly? Part of that's position, right? Like kind of staying low. You're not fully upright. You're not just thinking about moving the pedals around. You're trying to actually be aerodynamic. I mean, Caleb Ewan was like the king
Oh,
of
look
that
at his
back in the
front wheel.
day.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like his chin was literally lower than his handlebars.
Some of
Um,
those TDU
and
sprints were wild.
oh my gosh, I don't know how he knew where he was going. Like actually, like sometimes.
He just
But
memorized it
then
because he
also,
wasn't looking.
yeah, I mean, sometimes it's better as a sprinter not to see what's coming, but it is handy, especially when you're practicing. You want to do it somewhere where you know you're safe. You're not like in the middle of traffic. You're not on a road where people could be pulling out in front of you, et cetera, et cetera. Definitely also keeping in mind that cars are behind you. So nice quiet area if you're going to practice this. But yeah, another big one was just like the roundness of a pedal stroke. Like I think a lot of people get pretty obsessed on literally just smashing the pedals down and yanking on the handlebars. But like kind of having that disjointed sprint, you don't have that like nice fluid momentum going forward. So seeing people kind of round that pedal stroke out, getting aerodynamic, and then also sort of like being okay with going full noise. Like, I don't know. In today's modern society, you don't get a lot of opportunities to like literally run from the tiger or like chase the deer. And sprinting, you gotta find a way to be okay with that mentally, where it's just like, all right, this is everything. This is all fibers of my being propelling my bike forward through space. Full banshee, full warrior.
I got a couple of opportunities when I lived in Greenville when I first moved to the US. There are a lot of stray dogs that just weren't chained up. So I'd come home from a ride and I'd see my best sprint for the year just running away from some Rottweiler. There's
I
motivation
mean,
there.
that's saying something. You had a good sprint, dude.
Yeah, I did practice it.
Where'd you find that at? Where'd you figure out how to do that?
Once I realized, I wasn't going to win mountaintop finishes, I called myself a sprinter. So that was the big start to it. But growing up in Australia, there are a lot of good Australian sprinters, but one that I always really looked up to and loved following was Robbie McEwen. I'll always remember that finish or I think it was Canterbury 2007, where he crashed hard late, got back on his bike, got his way through the
Yep.
caravan, and then won the bunch sprint, which was absolutely wild. I mean, he obviously had pretty good power and he was very fast, but he could also maneuver his way through the bunch pretty easily, sometimes with his head, which was always fun to watch. But I was living in Belgium with Drapac, the Australian team, and we're living at Hofterkamen. I don't know if you've ever been there in Oudenaarde, but
Yep.
McEwen lived just up the road. I'd been in a couple of Camisas. I'd gone to the finish in a couple of races, and I just missed the sprint. So, saw Robbie out training, and I thought, all right, this is someone I can ask. Let's see what he's got to say. So he was nice enough to get back to me, and he gave me a workout, which is the workout for the week. I call it the McEwen sprint
You
set.
you got a workout from Robbie McEwen?
Yeah. He sent me a workout. I said, "Hey, Robbie, how do I get better at sprinting?"
Dude,
But
from the GOAT himself.
that was pretty sweet, and I've used this one with athletes and with myself. And when I do it, I find that it works pretty quickly. You can improve your sprint relatively quickly just by practicing it, right? Like sprinting isn't all strength or power, but there's a little neuromuscular work, right? It's trained through the nervous system, like motor unit recruitment, firing rate, and then that coordination, just practicing what you're doing, especially when you're spinning at 150 RPMs. So the session, what I would do is warm up 20, 30 minutes, and then I'd find a good back road, or I always loved like an unfinished housing development somewhere, on a weekend, normally better, where there's not trucks driving around, but somewhere you can, as you said, go full noise without any interruption. And the first block are little gear sprints. So there's 8 of them. You start one every 2 minutes. You're in probably 3 or 4 down on the back and your little chain ring, and you're seated. And you're starting from a standing stop. The idea is to accelerate as quickly as you can and then spin out through the end of the 12 seconds. Then you roll around for the rest of the 2 minutes. You do that again. So you got that snap from the standing start, and then you've got the really high cadence at the end. So do that, max out. All of these are RPE 10, so as hard as you can go, and just working on that acceleration mechanics. And the second block after that were big gear rolling starts. So 6 of them every 10 minutes, rolling easy endurance in between. And I would pick a sign, or like a street sign somewhere between like 15 and 30 seconds up ahead. And from like 30k an hour, 20 miles an hour, I would just go as hard as I can in a pretty big gear. So like a finish sprint. And that would be my sprint session. Did that once a week for 6 weeks, and I felt pretty good at the finish of some of these races.
And that's from Robbie McEwen himself. How come you didn't win a bunch of Tour de France stages?
Me?
Yeah, what the heck? You're doing Robbie's workout.
Well, yeah. If I'd had the chance, who knows? No, I don't know. I won won the green jersey at Tour of Colorado. How about that?
I mean, I think we said it. Was it the last podcast or 2 podcasts ago? Best race out there. Great race.
It's coming back, right?
Great race.
It's coming back. We're starting.
Yeah, it's coming back.
Just to kind of go back to that, we're talking about Robbie back in the day before strength training was really a part of this whole world.
Yeah.
So, like, now you as a coach, what does that look like for your athletes prescribing strength too?
Sure. So, I mean, strength training, really work on it in the off season, right? You want to build up to a pretty heavy, like 4 to 6 rep, like trap bar deadlift, back squat. Those are my favorites. I really like the trap bar deadlift over a straight bar dead, just because there's a little less risk, right? Like if someone's pretty experienced or really want to focus on that posterior chain, you can do it with the straight bar, but trap bar works better. After they've adapted, working towards like a 4 to 6 rep over 4 to 6 sets, and work it pretty heavy, right? Obviously, you're focusing on your form. You don't want to do anything that's going to injure yourself. But if you can get heavy, really activate all those type 1 fibers, that's really helpful. And then as you're getting closer to season, you'll move into something that's a little more explosive. So bringing the weight down, you can do trap bar dead jumps, a squat where you're really trying to explode out of the bottom, plyometrics, stuff like that. And it's really important to build up during the off season so you can do that maintenance work throughout the year. I mean, now I'm prescribing strength work at least once a week for all of my athletes. And I think it's really important in a sport like cycling that is so repetitive that you do just get some variation in your movement. We're asymmetrical beings trying to fit ourselves into symmetrical machines. So if you've got any little compensatory pattern, that's going to show. All right. It might not if you're doing 4 to 6 hours a week, but if you're training for a big event and then all of a sudden you're doing 10 plus, that's going to compound, and that's where those overuse injuries show up. So strength training helps avoid that, as well as just keep your body in good shape, especially from us as athletes. Super important.
Yeah, I mean it's great. Also, just from a hormonal standpoint, and just mix it up, right? Can't just be doing the same thing all the time. It's boring.
It is fun to go to the gym. I always enjoyed that, and I do a lot more of it now.
That's where all the bros are at. You got to go bro out, bro.
Build those quads, flex in front of the mirror.
Put together a reel, Instagram reel.
Yeah, that's where the content happens. We do actually have an a chart of the week, power curve from someone that finished in the front group from stage 17 today. So assuming it's a sprinter, I wanted to look at this P max. That's the sprint max. That's what we want to focus on today. We're talking about maximum power, what they did instantaneously, not necessarily for any particular period of time. Anything jumping out to you here, Alex?
They're tired.
They're tired. Yeah.
They are tired.
So just looking down at this, you're talking about how low this purple line is between.
Yeah, we're looking at the difference between the last 90 days and what they're doing today, or 17. Yeah, it was. There's definitely some fatigue there. They're getting close to their model curve. They're getting close to their last 90-day bests as we get further into the further down the line. But those peak max powers are definitely, we're starting to see those spread out a little bit. Not just tired from the tour, but it's for sure that likely those max numbers were at the end of the stage. And that was a hard stage. So
the fatigue tax as short as down like 25% versus fresh.
That's a high tax rate. Yeah.
But
they're paying.
Yeah, that aerobic engine held season best while the top of the curve collapsed. So, yeah, I guess fatigue eats the curve from the left. As you get more tired, it's harder and harder to push those maximum efforts, which is always why I like to do any sprint work or, really hard VO2 work at the start of a block or after a rest day.
Yeah. If you don't have some degree of freshness, you're kind of wasting your time. You're just trying to beat the dead horse even harder. Well, what do we have this last week? What do we got?
We've got some bike racing coming up.
The Tour de France starts tomorrow.
The real tour. I don't know if you follow Tom's on social media every day. The real tour. He texted me, he listened to the podcast and was laughing about the time trial after the rest day being both a time trial and an uphill start. About the worst you could imagine for.
You do want to warm up for that.
You might want to do your openers.
Yeah, 3 hours or not, you got to do something before that. Otherwise, you're done.
Before we jump into the other stages, we do have some accumulated TSS and KJs for the stages up until now. Total TSS stage 1 to 17, including rest days for our anonymous rider, 4,720.
To put that into some perspective, like a big week, what would you say for like a big week?
I would say, for me now, 800 is a big week. When I was training, a really big week, 1,000, 1,100. So, yeah. They're hitting, say this is just over 2 weeks. It's at least 1,500 plus a week. So these are
pretty crazy.
A huge week.
Yeah, they're stacking. They are stacking.
62,646 kilojoules.
I have not broken that down into cheeseburgers, but it's more than 5. There's a lot going on there.
It's definitely more than 5. I'm sure, Josh, you're Googling that to see how many cheeseburgers it is. All right. We've got a cheeseburger count coming up see how many you need to get through 17 stages of the tour.
What's crazy is these riders, it used to be the case that you would do a Grand Tour and most guys would either be like really jacked up and they might gain a little weight. I'm talking like really jacked up. They're like all inflamed and like things in their body are just broken. But most guys would lose 2 to 5 pounds. That was pretty common. Now, nobody's losing weight during the Grand Tour. Like, you show up at peak race weight, everything's calculated out, and you maintain that weight all the way through. So this poor guy ate 62,646 calories basically in 17
For all
days.
the Chris Horner fans, that's 50 cheeseburgers.
50 cheeseburgers, and I hope you got some spare because you're not done.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the cheeseburger too, but I'm assuming those are pretty big cheeseburgers, and 50 cheeseburgers in 17 days. It's pretty good.
And you're losing weight.
Maybe. Hopefully you're
Maybe.
maintaining.
Yeah, eating was always one of the hardest things. We talked about it last episode when I got my BMI checked, and I ended up having to eat more to do the training that I needed to do when I was trying to lose weight. But often I'll talk to an athlete and they're not recovering, they're not able to do their workouts, and we'll go back to, what are you eating? And we'll talk through the day, and it'll, when we do the numbers, it's like, well, you're not eating enough, and we'll map out, okay, what does eating enough look like? And then they'll go, that's so much. How do I do that? I'm like, oh, you sit down, you take one bite at a time.
So, did I do that math right? 62,646 divided by...
That's not including rest days. They're burning a few more.
Oh, yeah. And that's just on the bike.
That's just on the bike. So if they're on the bike and they're trying to replace everything that they're burning on the bike, which is kind of the goal these days, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say we'll take that number and divide it by a 30-gram gel. We'll do 40-gram gel. 40-gram gel, right?
Sounds good. Yep.
Depends on your brand.
That's 1,566 gels. 1,566 gels. That's like,
Ugh.
and then if you do the math on that, that's like 28 trips to the dentist. like 1,500 gels worth of KJs expired on the bike at the Tour de France, and the real Tour de France starts tomorrow, right? Stage 18.
I'm going to touch wood here, but since I retired, I haven't had a cavity.
Yeah, I believe it. I think some of the ones that I had are going away. My body is finally healing.
Yeah, no one became professional cyclists because they wanted to be healthy, because they wanted to be fast.
It's all about performance, baby.
Performance. All right. What do we got?
All right.
5 more days, 13,000 meters of climbing.
13 is a lot in 5 days.
13 is a lot.
Haven't done the math on that. That's a lot. Queen Stage coming up, stage 20. That one's only got 5,500 meters of climbing. Only.
And it's the second day up there, up to Huez.
Yeah, they don't even go the hard way up on that one.
You think the stage 19 is the hard way?
Yeah. I mean, it's a longer climb, more extended climb. The finish itself is harder, right? On stage 19. Stage 20, though, on the whole, the day is much harder.
Telegraph, Galibier.
Yeah, much harder. I mean, you want to talk about fatigue. I mean, there's nobody in this race that isn't very tired already. Even Tade, you can see it. He's not super spunky. Not totally sure what's going on there, but he doesn't seem like he's building and like really surging in the final week the way he has a couple times in the past. He's tired. Everybody's tired. Everybody's jacked up, man.
Yeah, they've been doing some bike racing.
Well, in the heat too, like we talked about.
The hottest. Yeah, super, super hot, super hard. No one's doing it easy.
A few really hard days in the hills. Yeah, tomorrow, stage 18. Also not an easy day, but on paper it looks like the easy day compared to everything else. I mean, we're gonna have to see some more breakaways here, I reckon.
You think?
Visma, yeah, Visma needs to get some more out of this race. Little Trek, they were actually big winners today, getting a lot of time back on the Team GC. But that goes back and forth pretty. I mean, depending on which way the wind blows, they could win it, they could lose it. So they need to get up the road as well.
For our listeners, Alex, you want to tell us how that's calculated?
Yeah. So with Team GC, it's the best 3 each day from each team. They take the time from the best 3 riders on each team, every stage. And the way you win or lose that is by having 3 guys fighting for the line every single day. UAE obviously has 2 of the best guys in the race with Del Toro and Tade. But every now and then they have a guy that gets on up there, like Yates in the breakaway, et cetera, but Trek has done a really good job with Ayuso and Skilmos, and then guys like Quinn Simmons up there slogging away in the breakaway, trying to get 5 minutes here and there for free, quote unquote for free. Nothing's for free in the Tour de France. Everybody has to lay an egg to get, just to the finish line. But
no free stages.
UAE is in 21st in the team.
Okay. So they got their 2 guys, but number 3 is not pulling his weight.
Slacker.
Are they 21st? I thought they were right there.
According to the rankings as of today on the 17th stage.
They got bigger fish to fry. I'm sure they're happy with what they've got, but it used to be the world championships of sprinting, but it changed a little last year. This Montmartre final versus the classic sprint. What do you think, Alex? What's better?
Oh,
got
man.
A hilly circuit instead of just a straight up procession.
I miss. Yeah, it's last year was crazy cool with Wout. Like that was so cool. Like Wout and Tade going after each other on that, and man, like it doesn't get any better than that. And Ola Paris is there, like on the climb. Like that was so cool. I don't know. I'm a defender of the classic Champs-Élysées finish, but it was just too cool last year. So I'm a fan. I'm a fan of a couple little hills there. But without Wout, I kind of wish it was just a regular sprint, if I'm honest.
We do have Vanderpool. It's the top of the hill's a
pour
little
one out
further
for
out
Wout.
this year.
Yeah. I mean, Mads has got the dilemma of, does he wait for the classic sprint? Or, I mean, he's strong enough, he can be playing games on that climb. Seems like he's going to.
I'm going to call Mads. I'm a fan this tour. I want to see him drop Philipsen, and I mean, he really only needs to drop Philipsen, and Gourmet would have to be a long way in front of him to overtake. But that's my pick. Who you got?
I mean, it's a great pick. There's no denying that. Let's go Olaf. Why not?
Okay.
Olaf's gonna get there. He's gonna get there.
Is there any rain in the?
Koij.
Is there any rain in the forecast?
Doubtful.
Right.
It's gonna be a beautiful day in Paris. It's always a beautiful day in Paris.
Cobbles. How about you, Josh?
It's tricky, right? I think that's why they designed that stage the way it is now.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm gonna take a weird one. Healy just attacks and pulls his hair out and go for it.
Cool. Okay. I wouldn't hate to see it. It'd be cool to watch.
It'd be sweet.
Hanging off the side of his bike, just.
Yeah, I looked it up here. UAE 18 minutes down on the team's classification, but that's kind of nothing. It's kind of something, kind of nothing. It was down to 3 minutes the other day. We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Double out to
Trek's gonna win
get that back.
Dude, imagine that. You have a bad day on Alpe d'Huez. That's like having a bad month, dude. Like,
yeah. Blown up at the bottom of
It's a
that
long
thing. You
one.
still got to climb it. That'd be a hard day. Reminds me of Tour of Utah.
it's a long one. The number of times when you're like suffering in these grand tours and you feel terrible and things aren't going well, and then you realize you had actually just started the climb, and then you see you realize how far you have to go, and you're like, wow, it's 17K to the top. I mean, that's going to be people on like the Telegraph and Galibier. They're like, wow, this is going to take a long time, and I'm getting dropped by the Gruppetto right now, and I still have 2 more of these to go. Not to sidetrack us. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
It's all good. Paris is coming.
I'm having flashbacks.
Not
You get your
the
PTSD,
general.
waking up in a cold sweat.
Yeah, exactly. Just screaming, bottle, give me bottle. Just trying to get
Jess
help.
says, Alex, go to sleep. You're okay. You're safe.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Should
there's
just kick me
people,
out, dude.
there's people you could see for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, bring the series to a close. It's been a lot of fun, guys. Episode 1, we looked at form on the PMC. You know, warned that you can't add fitness in that last 10 days. And the pros are living that this week. We looked at the ceiling and the battery. Episode 2 on that model curve. Episode 3, we looked at the durability on the deep ride overlay. And today, the sprint at the short end. So hopefully everyone's learned a little bit more about all of those things. And yeah, if you're just joining us, all 4 of those episodes are online. And as a special freebie for all of the listeners, if you wanted to try out some of those workouts we've been talking about during the series, I've created 2 free plans available via the link in the show notes. So got a choose your own adventure style, ride your phenotype, 6 weeks. If you did that CP test from episode 2, this is a plan built off your result. Right, you got the puncher track to raise the ceiling, diesel to grow the battery. There's also a build your durability plan. It's 8 weeks. And, that's if episode 3's durability segment described your racing. That's the plan for that. Got the durability test on either end. That same method on fresh legs. And again, after hours of loaded riding. And they're free, so check them out. Great.
I checked them out.
Well,
They look pretty good.
You like them? You're going to do that one?
I should do something. I got to get back in shape, so this might be the way to do it. I got to figure out my phenotype, what my phenotype looks like now after sitting in the car for too much time. But
all right, well, Sunday we've got someone cross the line in Paris. Don't know if it's going to be with a 12-second burst of power or a breakaway over that final climb, but either way, the work they did, none of it shows up just in July. Gets built in the off season when nobody's watching, or somebody's maybe watching for some of those guys. You got camera filming Pogacar everywhere he goes now. But yeah, tour end Sunday, your season doesn't. Thanks for riding along. Hope you guys learned something, and good luck with the rest of your season. Thanks, Josh. Thanks, Alex.
Thanks for listening to Endurance Unlimited. Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow us on your platform of choice to never miss new episodes. Also, be sure to leave a 5-star rating to let your coach and the algorithm know you're ready to dial in your training. Find more resources to help you take on your next challenge at TrainingPeaks.com or find us on social media at TrainingPeaks. Got questions? Leave a comment or send an email to podcast@TrainingPeaks.com. Good luck in whatever you're training for, and trust the process to reach your potential.